To dive into some ancient wisdom?
Always am.
All right, so today we're exploring a powerful technique from the Vigyan Bhairava Tantra. That text
Yeah.
all about higher consciousness.
Right.
It's called Observation of Thoughts Without Attachment.
Okay.
And I gotta say, this is a total game changer when it comes to finding some peace in your mind.
Yeah. The Vigyan Bhairava Tantra, it's not your typical meditation manual.
Yeah.
Like, it throws out this radical idea that your true self at your core is like the observer,
Okay,
that quiet awareness that sits behind all the mental chatter.
I like that.
Yeah.
So instead of just like trying to shut our thoughts down completely,
Yeah.
which let's be real, is kind of like trying to stop a runaway train.
Uh-huh. Right.
This technique is saying, hey, just step back and watch them.
Exactly. You become an audience member in the theater of your mind.
Okay, so I'm picturing myself, comfy chair,
Right.
big bucket of popcorn,
Yeah.
just watching the show.
But instead of a movie, you're watching your thoughts come and go, anxieties, to-dos, that catchy song you just can't get out of your head.
Oh man, tell me about it.
Right.
But how do we know, like, which thoughts are helpful, which ones are holding us back? Don't we need some kind of judgment there?
That's where discernment comes in.
Okay.
This practice, it's not about being passive or letting your thoughts run wild.
Okay.
It's about creating space.
Okay.
Space to choose which thoughts are worth engaging with and which ones are just noise.
So I'm not just on autopilot,
You're right.
I'm taking back control of the remote.
Exactly. Think of it like this. Have you ever noticed how certain thoughts keep you stuck in the same patterns?
Oh yeah.
Maybe it's worrying about the future or replaying past mistakes.
Like that embarrassing moment 5 years ago that I can't let go of.
Well, this technique offers a way to break free from those mental loops.
Right.
By simply observing the thoughts without judgment, you weaken their grip. You start to see them for what they are, just thoughts, not necessarily truths or
Right.
commands you have to obey.
Okay, I can see how powerful this could be, but to really get this,
Yeah.
I need to understand what the Vigyan Bhairava Tantra says about this observer.
Okay.
Like, who or what is this silent awareness behind the scenes?
That's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
The text suggests that this observer, this awareness, is closer to your true nature than the thoughts themselves.
Hold on. You're saying my true self isn't my thoughts, but the thing that's watching them.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Mind-blowing, right?
Yeah.
And the Vigyan Bhairava Tantra offers a whole range of techniques to help you connect with that awareness,
Okay.
to experience it directly.
So this observation of thoughts without attachment, it's just one tool in a much larger toolbox.
Exactly. And it's a powerful tool
Okay.
because it addresses something fundamental, the way we tend to identify with our thoughts
Okay.
and let them dictate our experiences.
So instead of being ruled by our thoughts, we're learning to see them as separate from who we really are.
Precisely. And that shift in perspective can be incredibly liberating.
Okay.
It opens the door to greater peace, clarity, and freedom in your life.
Okay, I'm definitely intrigued, but how does this actually work in practice? What are the steps involved in this observation of thoughts without attachment technique?
Well, the beauty of it is in its simplicity.
Okay, so simplicity, I like that.
Yeah, no special equipment, no mantras, not even a dedicated meditation space.
Seriously?
You can practice this anytime, anywhere.
So I could be like right in the middle of a crazy work day
Yep.
and just decide to observe my thoughts just like that.
Exactly. The core principle is bringing awareness to your mental activity, no matter what you're doing.
Okay.
Just start by noticing the thoughts as they pop up. Don't engage. Don't analyze them. Just acknowledge their presence, let them drift by.
So like if I'm super stressed about a deadline, I don't have to immediately try to solve it
Right.
or push the feeling away.
Exactly.
I could just observe the stress and let it be.
You got it. You're not suppressing the thought or pretending it doesn't exist.
Right.
You're simply choosing not to get swept away by it.
So it's like saying, hey, stress,
Mm-hmm.
I see you, but you don't control me.
Exactly.
That sounds so much easier than what I usually do,
Right.
like trying to fix everything all at once.
Yeah.
But let's be real. Some thoughts are like super sticky. You know?
No.
What about the worries, the anxieties that just keep looping over and over in my mind?
That's where the detachment part comes in.
Okay.
Remember that cloud analogy from earlier?
Mm-hmm.
These persistent thoughts, they're like dark, heavy clouds blocking the sun.
Okay.
But even the densest clouds eventually move on shift.
Yeah.
Your job is to just watch them pass across the sky of your mind without getting caught in the storm.
Okay, that sounds really nice in theory,
Mm-hmm.
but some of those mental storms feel really intense.
Right.
How do I keep from getting totally swept away.
Well, that's where compassion and self-awareness are so important.
Okay.
It's okay to feel frustrated, anxious, overwhelmed, even instead of judging yourself for having these thoughts and feelings.
Right.
Just observe them with a gentle, accepting awareness.
So even when my mind's being a jerk, I need to be kind to myself.
Exactly. It's recognizing that you are not your thoughts or your emotions.
Right.
You are the spacious awareness that can hold and observe all those mental and emotional experiences
Okay.
without being consumed by them.
So it's like creating a buffer zone so the thoughts and feelings don't hit me at full force.
Yes, and as you practice this, you might start noticing some really cool shifts in your life.
Like what?
Well, things that used to trigger a huge reaction might lose their power.
Oh, wow.
You might find yourself reacting less impulsively,
Okay.
responding to situations with more thoughtfulness.
So it's not just about calming the inner storm. It's about changing how I interact with the world around me.
It's about cultivating inner peace that then ripples outwards,
Interesting.
influencing your relationships, your responses to challenges,
Yeah.
ultimately how you experience life itself.
Okay. This is starting to sound less like a meditation technique and more like a total life philosophy.
Aha. It is, in a way, it's about recognizing the stillness and awareness that are always present within you,
Oh, wow.
even amidst the chaos of your thoughts and emotions.
Right.
It's about tacking into your inner strength and wisdom.
Okay. I'm sold on the concept.
Great.
But I got to be honest. I can be a bit of a skeptic.
Sure.
Can you give me some concrete examples of how this observation technique plays out in real life?
Absolutely. Let's say you're stuck in traffic and starting to feel that rush of road rage. So you're stuck in traffic, right? And you start to feel that road rage coming on.
Oh, yeah. I know the feeling.
But instead of letting it take over,
Okay.
you take a deep breath and start observing. You notice the tightness in your chest, the frustration, building those thoughts like, this is ridiculous, I'm going to be late. But instead of merging with those thoughts and feelings,
Oh.
you simply acknowledge them as passing events in your mental landscape.
So instead of laying on the horn and yelling at everyone,
Uh-huh.
I'm taking a mental step back
Yeah,
and just watching the anger come and go.
exactly. And you might find that just by observing it, the anger starts to dissipate. It loses its grip on you.
Interesting.
Maybe you even chuckle at how quickly your mood changed
Yeah.
because of something so trivial.
That's a great example.
Yeah.
It really shows how powerful this technique can be
Yeah.
to stop those automatic reactions we all have.
It's about creating space between the stimulus and your response.
Okay.
And that space allows for a more conscious, skillful way of navigating those tough situations.
So we've talked about the how-to, the benefits,
Yeah.
even some real-life examples.
Right.
But I think it's time to hear from people who've actually used this observation of thoughts without attachment
Oh, yeah.
in their own life.
Absolutely. Hearing from others can be really inspiring and insightful.
So our first story is from a listener named Sarah.
Okay.
She's a busy entrepreneur, always feeling overwhelmed by work.
Yeah, Sarah's story is a fantastic example of how even small, consistent efforts with this technique can lead to big changes.
So before this practice, Sarah felt like she was on a hamster wheel constantly,
Right.
chasing deadlines, answering emails, never a moment to breathe.
I think a lot of us can relate to that feeling of always being on.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But here's where things get interesting. Sarah started taking these short observation breaks into her day,
Sure.
just a few minutes here and there to step back from everything and become the observer of her thoughts and feelings.
Did those few minutes actually make a difference with her crazy schedule?
They really did. Sarah noticed that her stress levels started to decrease.
Wow.
She could focus better, and most importantly, she felt more in control of her reactions, especially in those high-pressure situations.
It's amazing how something so simple can make such a big difference.
It really shows the power of awareness.
Yeah.
Sarah wasn't trying to force her thoughts to disappear.
Right.
She just allowed them to come and go like waves on the shore.
And by doing that, she created space for more peace and clarity.
Exactly. Now, let's hear from another listener. David, he's a musician who struggled with really bad performance anxiety.
Okay, so David's story shows how this technique can help us overcome, deep-seated fears and those limiting beliefs
Right.
that hold us back.
For years, David felt paralyzed by stage fright. He knew he was talented,
Yeah.
but the fear of judgment and messing up kept him from sharing his music.
It's so common for artists, but it can be so debilitating.
Absolutely. But David decided to try something different. He started using the observer technique to detach from those anxious thoughts before performances.
So did he actually get over his stage fright?
It wasn't an overnight thing, but over time, David noticed a huge shift. He was still aware of the anxious thoughts,
Cool.
but they didn't have the same power over him anymore.
So it's not about getting rid of the thoughts, but changing how you relate to them.
Exactly, and by changing his relationship to those thoughts, David could finally step onto the stage with more confidence and authenticity and share his gift with the world.
I love these stories. They're so inspiring.
Me too! They really highlight the potential of this practice.
Yeah, so as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you want listeners to take away from this?
The most important thing is this. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness that observes those thoughts.
I like that.
And by practicing this technique, you start to reclaim your freedom. The freedom to choose how you respond to life's challenges and to live with more presence, purpose, and joy.
It's like stepping out of the driver's seat of your mind and becoming the observer,
Yeah.
the witness to the flow of thoughts and emotions.
And from that place of observation, you find a wellspring of inner strength and wisdom that was always there, just waiting to be uncovered.
This has been a great exploration. We've gone from ancient wisdom to practical techniques
Oh, Ed, it's been fun.
and inspiring stories.
Right.
It's clear that observation of thoughts without attachment can really impact our lives.
It really can. And remember, the real work starts. Now it's about taking these insights and using them in your everyday life.
So for everyone listening, I encourage you to experiment with this technique. See what it means to observe your thoughts without judgment
Yeah.
and discover that incredible power of awareness inside you.
You might be amazed by the sense of peace, clarity, and freedom that comes along the way.
This is The Deep Dive, signing off until next time. Keep exploring, keep observing, and keep discovering the boundless potential within you.